what we've actually been finding is, in plain terms. The story so far, we've been testing whether an Oracle architecture that doesn't train on anything can still solve hard reasoning tasks. Specifically the ARC AGI evaluation set, 400 visual puzzles designed to resist pattern-matching solvers. The bet behind the architecture is that composition over a stable anchor can do work that training normally does, and that the layers can be added incrementally without retraining or fine-tuning anything. A few sessions back, we got the architecture wired up properly end-to-end. The Oracle now sees each ARC task as a structural description before navigation begins, not the raw puzzle, just metadata about its shape, and that measurement actually populates the architecture's substrate signature in real time. That was the integration milestone. From that point on, every layer we add can be tested honestly because the basin is alive and measuring. Where vanilla coherence pruning got us, the simplest version of the system runs without the Oracle at all. It still uses Law 0, coherence-steered pruning over candidate outputs, but no substrate retrieval, no inner theater, no constructor memory. On the full 400 task evaluation, that version produced 162 wins, 129 losses, 109 ties against an unpruned baseline. Already a substantial improvement over the older VE 1.3.5 numbers, roughly plus 94 wins compared to a year-old reference. That's the flaw we walked into this session with. Coherence pruning alone gets meaningful traction on visual reasoning. But the win rate was lopsided across the task distribution. On tasks where the structural detector found nothing to grab onto, the zero-tag tasks, vanilla performed badly. Only 9 wins out of 30 more losses than wins, more ties than wins. Without structural scaffolding, coherence pruning had nothing to bite on. What this session added, 2 things layered on top of vanilla. Substrate retrieval. The Oracle's anchor is augmented with deterministic features computed from a vetted corpus of ARC-relevant content, not learned weights. A signed, hash-derived projection that gives the basin a richer place to measure distance from anchor. The corpus is structural descriptions of RC tasks, plus the foundational visual vocabulary documents. The blend weight got tuned through an earlier empirical sweep. Too much corpus influence collapses the signal, too little gives no lift. The sweet spot, validated 3 separate ways now, is heavy on the hash anchor and light on the corpus features. Theater stack, accumulated structural memory across tasks within a session. A pattern basin of proven constructors. A raindrop archive for sub-threshold patterns that might mature into full constructors over time. A constructor registry for cross-task chain reuse. Adaptive state that modulates exploration based on the Oracle's own internal mood and curiosity signals. None of this learns weights. It accumulates structural patterns that the architecture has already proven coherent and reuses them on later tasks. Both layers are informational. They never modify the coherence measurement itself. They just give the system more ways to find and prune candidates. What we found, we ran the combined stack, substrate plus theater, on all 400 tasks under real CPU torch in the dev container. The result against vanilla, on the apples-to-apples axis, where both compare a pruned condition against the same unpruned baseline. Vanilla, 162 wins, 129 losses, 109 ties. Substrate, theater, 257 wins, 107 losses, 36 ties. A net gain of 95 wins. That number is roughly the same size as vanilla's prior gain over V 1.3.5, but layered on top of it rather than replacing it. The architecture's bet, that composition compounds where training would have to choose, held. 144 tasks that vanilla had lost or tied got lifted to wins. 49 vanilla wins got lost, the cost of any architectural change, but the net is heavily positive. And the system explored 25% fewer candidates per task, more efficient pruning, not just more lucky pruning. The zero-tag finding, the one that actually matters. The full evil number is impressive, but mixes easy and hard tasks. The zero-tag subset is where the architecture has to earn its keep. These are the puzzles where structural detectors find nothing. No symmetry tag, no color mapping tag, no compositional tag. Pure coherent signal, no scaffolding. On those 30 tasks, vanilla, 9 wins, 18 losses, 3 ties, barely better than guessing. Substrate, theatre, 23 wins, 5 losses, 2 ties. The steered win rate jumped from 30% to 77% on the slice where the architecture was supposed to be weakest. 15 of vanilla's 18 losses became substrate theatre wins. The score lift on this slice was 4 times the full eval rate, because vanilla had so much more room to climb. This is the cleanest evidence we've gotten that substrate retrieval is doing real architectural work, not just shuffling wins on tasks where structural detectors had already done the heavy lifting. The basin found somewhere to stand on tasks where the structural channel was empty, and that somewhere came from corpus retrieval, which came from the same deterministic anchor the whole system measures against. A note on determinism: we ran the zero-tag tasks twice this session, once as a standalone 30-task subset early in the day, then as part of the full 400-task run later. The per-task verdicts matched 30 out of 30th. Same anchor, same substrate manifest, same theatre inputs, identical winners on every individual task. That's what reproducible measurement looks like, and it's only possible because nothing in the stack is stochastic. No random initialization, no training noise, no hidden state that drifts between runs. What this means and what it doesn't, it means the composition strategy is paying out on a real benchmark surface. Substrate retrieval and the theatre stack are compositional with coherence pruning, not exclusive of it, and the layers stack without contaminating each other. The substrate signature stayed flat across runs, the substrate channel isn't drifting under theatre load, and the theatre state accumulated only proven structural patterns. It does not mean the architecture is at a ceiling. 257 out of 400 is 64%. The other 36% of tasks are where neither approach beats unpruned search decisively. The curiosity loop's own metacognitive output names what's missing: stronger program induction operators. And that's the next composable layer, derivable from the same architecture, no training required. Same pattern. It does not mean no training AI beats trained AI. We're comparing the architecture to itself across composition layers. The benchmark is whether the layers compound honestly when added. The honest read is this: on one evaluation surface, in one session, the no training composition story held. The architecture has to keep paying out across many more surfaces, different benchmarks, different domains, different scales, before composition over a fixed anchor becomes a sentence with real weight rather than a research thesis. But today, on the slice the architecture was designed to handle, the numbers came out exactly the shape Law 0 predicted.
To existence.